The Fed's creating inflation because they're raising rates. Banks are forced to follow suit now more than they have been, and it shows up in financial service sector inflation. I mean, what bank right now is raising its fees as we go into a credit contraction?
Right.
So it's just all nonsense. I'll tell you that the producer price index was 11% year over year this time last year. So the question would have been a year ago, what is going on exactly? We look like Zimbabwe. Producer price index is now 2.3% year over year. Now I get back to show you how people are totally ignorant of the data. They come back and say, well, what do you look at PPI for? It doesn't include services. No. That's the old way from 20 years ago. Producer price index, 60% of it is services. The year-over-year trend in the producer price index has collapsed in unprecedented form in the past 12 months from 11% to 2.3%. It's almost at the Fed's target. Can you imagine if the CPI, if that was doing what the PPI was doing? I know what the Fed's looking at. I know what CNBC is looking at. Fox Business, everybody is just the holy grail bowing down to the consumer price index. There are other price measures actually telling you that the Fed is actually there. They just refuse to believe it because of hubris, because they committed the cardinal sin of saying inflation was going to be transitory. You know, second part of his tenure, Jay Powell is not going to go down in history as being compared to Arthur Burns. So they'll crush the economy. We haven't seen the full effects of the Fed tightening yet. And inflation is going to be a lot lower. It's already come down a long ways. But talk about, the stickiness of the services side when naturally the distributive lags, those lags are like 3 years. Of course, the CPI is the most lagging. The CPI is more lagging than the unemployment rate is. It's the most lagging of the lagging indicators. And yet I've never seen a cycle. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've never seen such anal retentiveness over such a lagging indicator as the CPI inflation rate, where 30% of it is dominated by residential rents that we know in real time are actually going down. But yeah, they've already overdone it. History will show that they corrected one mistake with another mistake.